Hello guys, welcome to day 7 and today we're going to be talking about Nelson Mandela. This name is not uncommon to any African person. Nelson Mandela's story is not just one of political history. It's an illustration of how life shapes purpose through difficult experiences, like we talked about yesterday. And this is very, very important. You see, Nelson Mandela was a small boy that grew up in a South African village, right? And he just wanted education, right? But in that journey, he experienced injustice, he experienced oppression, he experienced inequality. He didn't read it, he experienced it firsthand, right? And so all of these things awakened something in him. He awakened his consciousness, he awakened awareness within him. Fast forward many years later, right? Mandela was arrested and he spent about 27 years in prison. 27 years in prison. Just imagine a 27-year-old person. That's like a full adult, possibly with a family already in this generation, right? So Mandela spent 27 years in prison, and you may have thought, maybe when he comes out, he will be so drained, he would have forgotten, about the things he experiences and about, the things he desired to do, or his love for his country and all of that. But no, Mandela was in the prison, he was in silence, there was no applause. He was in a very uncomfortable state. But something else was also happening in the prison. The prison didn't break him. The prison built him. In the prison, he learned patience, he learned wisdom, he learned empathy, he learned compassion, and so much more. And so when he walked out of the prison, he didn't walk out as a victim. He walked out as a man prepared for life, a man prepared to lead, a man prepared to build, and a man prepared to unite. Because the difficult experience of being in the prison, right, had shaped him, has groomed him for it. And so you notice that he first of all had to become a leader, had to become this person in order for him to do the things that he had to do, right? And so imagine if he was in the prison and he had a different perspective and he was just like, oh, this is too tough, right? I think I just back down now. I don't have to do this, right? I don't really have to do the facts, depend on whenever I'm out of here, I just need to get my life on something else, working on something else. But he didn't do that, not because it was pleasurable or not because he enjoyed the difficult experiences, but he understood purpose. He understood that there's just something, in him that this experience is shaping him for, and he can't afford to waste it. He can't afford. So imagine spending 27 years in prison and then coming out and just giving up on everything. That's like going back to square zero, right? But then coming out from that prison, using your experiences, everything that you've built and learned to chase something, that's an advantage compared to someone who goes back to square zero. And so you also see here that his passion for his country, right, took commitment. It took commitment, right? It wasn't exciting, it didn't feel good, there was no hope, right, in the prison, but he had to continue, he had to commit to it. That is real passion. That is real passion. That you're able to stick to it even after so many years spent in quotes, and afterwards you're still able to go in pursuit of this thing. That is what passion actually means. Another thing to learn from this is our connectedness as humans. Like I said, I think I've mentioned this every single video, right? This is because Mandela knew that what he desires, what he is in pursuit of, right, is going to benefit not just him. He was not just thinking about himself. He didn't just want to be popular or just the glory to himself at all. He understood that this thing, if I don't speak up, if I don't do something about it, thousands, millions of people are going to suffer. Not only those that are present citizens, but those that are to come. So how we talked about your actions and inactions, affect people around you, whether directly or indirectly. This is how it plays out. So imagine if Mandela actually gave up in the prison. Imagine what South Africa would look like today. Just imagine, right, the generations that would have victims of these things, right, if Mandela didn't come around, or if Mandela didn't commit to it. So having understood this thing, right, from Mandela's life, it should rewire our mindset about difficult experiences, right? It should rewire our mindset about passion. It should rewire our mindset, about our connectedness, and how that, your purpose is bigger than you, way bigger than you even think. So I hope you learned something from today. So see you tomorrow.